Jason Nolley is a 20-year wine and restaurant industry veteran. He just opened a brand new wine shop downtown. It's called Jessamine Vine. He joins us now with more on his exciting and tasty venture and has brought with him a selection that is a great way to celebrate the 4th of July. It's wonderful to see you here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, and thank you for bringing 6 bottles of wine. I mean, usually we're just thrilled when we see 1, but you brought 6.
It's against my nature to come empty-handed.
Yeah, I love that. And we'll get into the Zinfandels because there is a tie-in to the American way, the American culture. But first and foremost, congratulations on this new shop of yours. It's right next door to where we did a Food Friday. Tell us where it's located.
So we're down on Market Street, 1 block off of King Street. Next to Chef Bob Wagner's place. He has fantastic cooking class space there. And then the other corner, of course, is La Farfalla, where you did your feature. And it's quickly becoming, I think, a culinary corner because we also have Bistro Vin next door, a nice wine bar, and we have off-track ice cream around the corner.
And you've got parking.
And we have parking.
That is the big seller there too, of course. So, you know, we've talked to different wineries, wine shops, things of that nature, and they've talked often about how the wine business, the industry has changed over the years, the way in which grapes are grown, the way in which they're aged. Are you a traditionalist? Are you happy with some of these changes? What do you think?
I think it's really fascinating with the new generation, especially in our country. You have a new generation coming up in California, Oregon, even in New York State. There's a small, burgeoning wine scene, and what they're doing is really fascinating because they have taken some of the traditional methods. They have an eye, of course, on Europe. A lot of them grew up drinking European wine, but they're applying that with technology in a way that has never been done before. So they're really pushing boundaries. I think it's a really exciting time to be in wine. You're seeing every kind of possible style be available, even in South Carolina now. Our availability of wine is really phenomenal.
Yeah, this is a brave new world we're living in here in the South.
It really is. I mean, I've really enjoyed digging into the different distributors, available books and stuff.
Certainly. Let's talk about these wines here. Okay, so why would it be perfect for 4th of July?
So I have this theory that Zinfandel is the all-American grape. It came to the country probably and even possibly through Ellis Island. In New York, another New York connection.
Yes, of course.
And it ended up in some nurseries in the mid-1800s and then went west on the trains with, the gold rush probably, with immigrants going out there. And ended up, because Zinfandel is a hardy grape, which I think is related to the American experience also, it doesn't need vine trellising or training. It can grow on a bush on its own out of the ground. And so because of that reason, it was widely populated throughout California in the late 1890s or so.
That's fascinating. Let's pour one.
Sure.
Yeah, which one do you want to start with?
Because this vineyard is at one of the great, I think, American vineyards. It was planted in 1890 during that time.
It's a beautiful color.
It's called Evangelo, named after the Portuguese owners of the vineyard. So there's still that connection there to the original plantings.
What should we be tasting with this one?
So true to all Zinfandel, you're going to find deep plum, a lot of thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, what should we be tasting in this one?
But you'll always have a nice spice component along with the fruit and Zin. And that's, I think, another reason to call it the all-American grape. It's spicy. Red Zins always have a lot of body and guts to them. And they are such great matches to American cuisine. They can handle sweeter foods. They can handle like barbecue. They can handle smoky foods.
It has a little bit of sweetness to it, but not overly sweet, and it's not heavy like a cab.
No,
it's got a lightness to it.
You nailed it it.
Well,
doesn't.
Thank you.
Zins don't
I've been
have
listening.
that extra weight to them.
Ooh, it smells so nice. This would be perfect to go along with a barbecue or something in your backyard. And even when it's so hot out, why not, Okay, this is a good place to take a break. When we come back, we're going to try these other 2 wines and learn a little bit more about Zinfandels. I should probably have some bread while we drink this. Yeah. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back. We are celebrating the 4th of July with some delicious wine. With us is Jason Nolley of Jessamine Vine, a brand new wine shop downtown that you have a selection from all over the world.
We sure do. So in my career and time in New York, like we were saying, I got to experience a lot, and so I wanted to represent that there in the shop. I have a particular affinity for Italian wine, so I have been told we have one of the best Italian wine selections in town.
Why do you like Italian wines in particular?
Well, I work for 3 different Italian wine importers. So, you know, you kind of dig in a little bit. I like to say we have over 100 varieties of grape represented in the store. So there's a wide variety from all over the world there in the shop. And we also have spirits as well.
Oh, you do? Okay, so there is something for everybody. But what you've brought with us today is Zinfandel. And Zinfandel you've described as a very American kind of a grape.
I think so.
Yeah, that it could have very well come through Ellis Island and then made its way out west, just like, you know, a lot of our ancestors did. We tried the first one. That was fantastic. Let's try the next one. And how would you describe this one? And what are the differences, would you say?
Okay, so this first one is a very important vineyard for the U.S. and for Zinfandel. Was like we were saying, it was planted so long ago. This was planted about 30 years ago, and this is right next to San Francisco Bay, San Pablo Bay. This comes farther up in Sonoma, in the Dry Creek area, where Zinfandel, they say, is its kind of spiritual home in California. So.
And I see that you also brought different glasses. Is that on purpose? Must be.
I think so. I think you need these bigger bulbs here when you're trying, especially when you're trying a wine for the first time, because you really want to feel all the aromatics of the wine. And that's one of the great things about Zin. I think right out of the bottle, when you pull the cork out the first time, you're going to get a lot of beautiful aromatics.
Let's give this a try. Can't wait to see. Let's see. Okay, what should I be looking for?
So now you're going to find a dustiness to the fruit, which is very typical of Dry Creek.
Drier.
And you'll find, exactly, a little bit more heavy tannin, which is that drying effect you just described, and then a nice, you know, plummy fruit.
Oh, really yummy. That's very good. Very, very tasty. All right, let's move on to the last one. So is this the pièce de résistance, or?
This is the crazy cousin.
Okay, we all have got one of those.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, you know, I have an affinity for Italian wine. I wanted to show the crossover too, that you can find if you're looking, you start in America, if you're a big cab person, but you want to try something different from Europe. This is genetically the same grape as Zinfandel that we have in the US. But in Italy, it's called Primitivo.
Is it a different process in which it's made? Or?
It's made pretty much exactly the same way. It's even grown on the bushes the same way in southern Italy. The grape originally came from Croatia, so it just made its way over to Italy naturally.
So we are going to taste something a little different in this?
Yes, this will be a little lighter.
Okay.
Although the area of Italy where this grows is pretty flat and pretty warm. So you'll also find some very, you know, similarities.
Okay. And can people take classes? I know there's a cooking class on the corner, one of your neighbors, but do you offer classes?
We will. Next month we're going to start up our tastings in the shop, and then in the fall we may even do some things with Chef Bob. We do some crossover.
And it's funny because you were selling to Chef Bob before you opened your store, so now you're...
Well, it's like, you know,
you're related.
Saying it's off
It's
air.
a family.
It's just a big family.
It is, yeah. And why do you think it's important for people to know a little bit more information about wine when they drink it? Do you find that the experience is better that way?
Well, I think that's what makes wine unique, more so than almost anything that we drink. I mean, wine is not only the liquid in the glass, but it's the family, it's the soil, it's the weather that in that particular year. So there's always a story to be told. And I think knowing that story enhances your experience of it all.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I also love the movie Sideways. I'm sure you get that a lot, don't you?
Yeah,
This is tasty. It is quite a bit lighter. You know, it's still that deep red color, but it does have a lightness to it. Thank you so much for sharing with us. This is fantastic. And for anybody who wants any more information, how do they get a hold of you?
You can either go online. All of our wine and spirits that we have in the shop are always live, real time, on my website, JessamineVine.com.
Perfect. Congratulations on the store. And
Thank you.
cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Great to see you, Jason.
Thank you.
Can't wait to have you back. We are back in 2 minutes.